This is the Yorkshire Business Woman podcast, supporting, inspiring and promoting women in business.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Yorkshire Business Woman podcast. Today I'm delighted to have with me here Liz Green, who is a True 2 radio host. She's the owner of La Cachet Boutique, events host, broadcast journalist, wearing lots of stylish hats. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you so much for being here. Look, I'm a proud
fantastic
ambassador for Yorkshire Business Women, and I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming in today. So to begin with, Liz, can I just ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself and your background?
I am a long-established radio presenter and journalist. Formerly worked for independent radio and the BBC, won loads and loads of awards, love making documentaries, love meeting people. And I've enjoyed that career for far too many years that I am caring to admit to. However, I think like most of us, during the pandemic, you begin to rethink your life. And the other love of my life have been clothes and shopping. And I'm not going to lie to you. I've never been a designer girl. I don't buy labels, but I do like nice clothes. And the idea began to grow that I could have a boutique inspired by the French Riviera, where I spend quite a lot of time because we're very lucky. We have a family home there. For women really over, I would say, 30s, because all the young girls have got great things to go and buy. And for women right across the size range and age range and lifestyle range. So I did it. I thought, I'm going to do this thing. And in the meantime, have myself a new job as a breakfast show host for true2.co.uk, which is the home of classic hits. So every morning now we're having a bit of a carpet disco, playing the music and enjoying that very, very much. And then I'm a bit multifunctional. I'm hosting the Harrogate Proms at the end of the month. I am an events host. I am available. Did the Women of Achievement for a long time and many major events in and around Yorkshire. And my journalistic eye hasn't gone. Let's put it that way. I have my eye on various things. I'm very good at holding people to account, but I enjoy dressing them better.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Do you know, there's so many things I want to ask you today, Liz. You've got, like you say, a lot of things going on. But take me back to the beginning of your career. Did you always have that sort of clear path that you wanted to go down?
I think I did. I discovered a radio station on the campus. I was at Loughborough University, and it was housed in a shack called the Purple Onion. And I kind of wandered in there. And discovered I loved it. And I loved pressing the buttons because then it wasn't all digital technology. And then after my degree in English literature, I went and did a year's course at the London College of Printing as a radio journalist. That was in London. I stayed there for a long time. I ended up producing Michael Aspel, some people might remember Michael, for LBC Radio. And then I went to Manchester to launch a new station called Key 103. Stayed there for a couple of years and then moved across to the BBC in Leeds and had been there ever since until I left in March of this year.
Fantastic. And can you just tell me what has been one of your, or a couple of your highlights from...
quite a few. I once interviewed the Dalai Lama. That was amazing.
Wow.
And I gave him a jar of Yorkshire mixture sweets because you can't, can you, go see the Dalai Lama and not take him a present?
Absolutely.
So I took him some Yorkshire tea and I took him a jar of these sweets, to which his eyes lit up like fruit machines. He got a monk to rip the top off and he stuffed these down his neck. Every interview after mine, and I was the first, he was sucking a Yorkshire mixture. Yes. I've been on death row and I've stood in Florida and talked to men who were waiting to die. And then I've been in the legal brothels of Nevada, finding out whether if that system of legality of prostitution would work here after 3 women were murdered in Bradford. It won't, by the way. However, I could tell you something about those women. They were fascinating and they all had the best shoes. Not kidding. Their shoes. I'm like, those are nice. Oh, those are nice. And so that's that. I've interviewed nearly every Prime Minister. I didn't interview Margaret Thatcher. That's a bit of a regret. But yeah. And I've met some remarkable people, what I would call ordinary people, who have fantastic stories to tell. So I've been very lucky.
Absolutely. It sounds like such a varied sort of career. So Tell me a little bit about your boutique. I know we spoke earlier about the inspiration behind. So where you said that fashion's always been something that you've been interested in. Where did you think? At what point did you think, right, I'm going to do this?
Well, I've always liked dressing up. When I was about 9, my mother had to take the dressing up box away because I spent more time dressing up like a princess or whatever I could get my hands on. So I think that's innate. I do. Then I began to think about the sort of clothes I saw in the south of France all year round, not just summer, and where they could be got here. And I couldn't really think of anywhere that had that style and affordability. I'm very keen that someone who comes to Cachet isn't necessarily laden with cash. That what we're talking about here is affordable, beautiful clothing. So a lady can buy a dress or she might buy several. But we're not talking about a lot of money. So I've chosen the clothes very, very carefully. And I wanted that experience to be in a very French environment. And the shop is. The colour scheme, the layout. Outside the shop is absolutely stunning as well. So nobody can miss it if they drive past. So that's really been my inspiration, but not with a designer price tag.
And I've been a couple of times now, and every time I come in, I feel so. We were talking earlier about that range of sizes, and as soon as I walk in, I feel so comfortable.
Good.
And the range of sizes just makes you feel so.
It does.
Yeah, because it's not often that you can, as a plus size lady, you can't seem to go into stores.
No, and I don't think any woman, whether they're plus size or they're a size 8, whether they are 90 or they are 40, you want to be able to walk in and think, I am comfortable and the clothes here will be right for me, and that you'll get the personal service that makes you feel good. That's really, having those relationships is really important to me. And I have got some lovely things for plus and smaller women. And shorter women. Lots of short women coming in and going, they're all too long. I'm going, not anymore. Here we have them.
Definitely. Well, as you know, I got a few of my holiday clothes from you
did?
A couple of weeks ago. And whereabouts can we find you, Liz?
Right, I'm in Elland, which is a small town off junction 24 of the M62. I'm at the bottom of the hill on Huddersfield Road. The town is between Huddersfield and Halifax. So you could come to me and then go over to the Peace Hall for the afternoon.
Yes, of course.
There's a great cafe next door. You can have your lunch there if you like. But you can combine it and make it a day out. And I have people coming from all over, certainly Yorkshire. I've had a couple came down from Northampton and they come in from all across the shop. So it's really nice to meet them.
And if you don't already follow on social media, you definitely need to. You brighten my morning, Liz, with your videos and all your different bright colours. As you can see, absolutely gorgeous dress there. And we spoke earlier about some more inspiration. So Jackie Kennedy.
Now, I've always been obsessed with the Kennedys, in the American political family.
Yes.
JFK, who was assassinated in 1963. And I like American politics. I like American literature. Anyway, for some reason, JFK has always stayed in my mind. Now, back in the early 90s in New York City, there was an exhibition at the Met Museum who do a lot of fashion. It's a fantastic place to go look around. But they did one on Jackie Kennedy's clothes. So there were her outfits, not the one that he was assassinated when she was wearing, but her outfits really. And she was a great supporter of European designers as well as some American. And I went to see it. And so it pleased me aesthetically and I had a sense of history. But what really did it for me were the women who were there. Because then in the 90s, a lot of them had remembered Jackie O as she became known as this style icon and Camelot and all of that. And they were talking about their view of Jackie Kennedy. Now, the radio documentary journalist in me, I really wished I'd had my microphone because there was a story of how women were influenced by another woman.
Right.
What she wore, how she wore it, her elegance, her mystique. And, it wasn't all that, believe me, I know. And I thought, isn't it funny? And then you look at like the Kardashians today, and then you look at other people in the public eye who, wear clothes and influence people. That is as old as time. It is.
Yeah.
And it started a sort of synapse of thought in my mind, how important clothing was, what it says about you, how you present yourself, and how others perceive you. And I think that's gone into the mix of Cachet La Boutique, without a doubt. And you can follow on Facebook. You're absolutely right, where we do all the lives every day.
Amazing, fantastic. And you mentioned about a new networking group that you're going to start up. Tell me a little bit about that, Liz.
Well, I've got a series, and I'm suggesting that there will be some benefit in this for the members of Yorkshire Business Women as their ambassador. But in July, I will hold my first networking meeting. And this is a group of ladies in the Calder Valley who meet regularly. And they are coming to the shop. They will have their usual meeting. It's a big shop. I can probably take up to about 10, maximum 15 people. Yeah. They'll have their meeting. They will have something to eat. And then they'll look around the shop and network, basically. So that's an idea I think would work for lots of different organisations. It could be you and your senior managers. It could be you and your young team. It could be you and your clients. Wouldn't that be great?
Absolutely.
Let's go shopping.
Yes.
In a beautiful French-inspired environment that you can, I'm not licensed, you'd have to bring your own booze, but you can just relax, have coffee, have a nibble, look at the clothes, talk to each other. And I think that's something I would very, very much like to do. I'm going to call them soirees. How posh am I?
Oh, very posh, Liz.
Very posh. But, and I will certainly be giving some thought to discounting those events with Yorkshire Business Women only. So watch this space. I will let you know, and you'll be very, very welcome.
Absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to hearing more about those. And just in general, who has been, throughout your career so far, who's been the biggest inspiration to you?
Gosh, there's been so many, really. My family, my grandmother who died a couple of years ago, who we all have this work ethic that we all work like you wouldn't believe because we think that's the way to achieve.
Yeah.
My mum, who instilled in me the need to be educated to move through, and then a work ethic of enjoy what you do and work very hard at it. So I come from a family of very strong women, very strong, and I'm delighted about that. One of my friends said to me recently, she was giving a speech at an awards event I was hosting, and she'd won a major award, and she talked about her dad and that her advice from her father was always buy your own handbags. And I loved that. And of course, what he was really saying was be financially independent in your own right.
Yeah.
And then if you want to spend $4,000 on a handbag, love, you carry on and do it. Well, I've never spent $4,000 on a handbag. But the principle really stuck with me throughout my life that if I earn it and I work for it. And I think I've spent the last few years of my career before Cachet not really enjoying what I was doing. And I'd lost that sense of joy. I was very good at it and I could do it with my eyes closed and I still love radio. Believe me, I love that communication. But I've rediscovered a joy of work. And if it's not work, and I think if you are not doing something that you really love, then you're wasting your time.
Definitely.
And don't be unhappy. Other mentors, there's a fantastic radio mentor. She's based in America. She's called Valerie Geller. And she tutors people about how to broadcast, basically. And she does this across the world. I've been very fortunate enough to work with her, and I now consider her to be a friend. She's got this great book on podcasting. So if you in your business are thinking, oh, I wouldn't mind doing that, or I've got a story to tell, or I've got a campaign, get Valerie's book on podcasting, because her key principles are not magic, but when they're spelt out to you, you think, could do that. I could do that differently. And for me, that's a joy. And I think those have been the key influences in my career and in my life. And they're all women. Isn't that strange? But they are. They are all women.
And it's all about definitely who you surround yourself with.
Yes.
And, you know, and I think for myself as well in my career, I decided to take that jump in October to become freelance, and it's just all about those who you're surrounded by and who you've got in your tribe, isn't it?
It really is. You know, the sisterhood
definitely
is a really important thing. And it's funny, I see it in a different way. I see it when someone comes into the shop, into Cachet La Boutique, and they've got their friend with them. Now, some friends are the sort of friend I'd like. In other words, you look terrible, take it off. Or, no, that looks, or try that. And there are others who don't want to be there or feel that somebody's doing something that they really shouldn't be doing, i.e. spending money. And it's the dynamic that works. So be very careful who you choose to support you. because some have an agenda,
Yeah.
a lot don't, and treasure the ones that work for you. That would be my view. And I think the older you get, the wiser you get. And you kind of think, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
And then you think, no, that's somebody and I'm very lucky. I have a close network of personal friends.
Yeah.
And we've thought we might have a long weekend in Vegas at some point this year. And then a lot of professional contacts. But my close friends are my core. And you've to find your core in business, I think.
Definitely.
Definitely.
And I think locally as well, we've definitely got some fantastic, contacts who've become,
Yes,
both of our
I mean,
sort
look
of-
at Nikki Chance-Thompson, who runs the
Absolutely.
Peace Hall. She's absolutely astounding.
Yeah.
And,
She's my mentor, actually, Liz.
well,
Yeah.
I think you have a great mentor.
Absolutely.
There,
Yeah.
and mentors are important. I think that someone to guide you and shape you and be kind and maybe sometimes not too kind
Yeah.
are the ones that you should treasure with all your heart.
Telling you the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's hard.
Definitely. And the Bridgestocks as well.
Love Carol and Bob Bridgestock. I've known them a long, long time.
Yeah.
I wrote a novel that was published about 4 or 5 years ago, and Carol and Bob were really helpful. So I suppose we could add novelists to that many hat list. It was a horror novel. I loved it.
Oh, wow.
But, again, the unqualified support and encouragement is what you're after, that people forget their own agenda and they're actually about helping you, which I think is just fantastic.
Absolutely, definitely.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And going on to the awards you've won, Liz, can you tell me all the awards that you've... Well,
there are lots.
There
are lots. I have 2 Sony Golds. This was the Radio Oscars awards originally, and I have 2 golds for that. Then they changed to the Arias, and they were first based in Leeds, and I was nominated, and then the following year I won a bronze in the National Speech Broadcaster category. So I was so chuffed.
Yeah, wow.
Lots of other
fantastic.
awards locally. I've been Yorkshire Personality of the Year twice for various organisations, and 2 of my documentaries won at the New York International Radio Festival. One on Auschwitz. I took a Jewish girl and a Muslim boy. They were both 17. We took their mums as well to Auschwitz with a MP who was Fabian Hamilton, Jewish MP in North Leeds. And we had the tour. And the idea was that these 2 young people from different cultures looked at history and filtered it. And they were remarkable. They were just remarkable. That one at the New York International Radio Festival. Wow. And then I made a documentary on death row in Florida, not about an individual, but about the system that supported it. And I took a young man with me from Leeds whose mother and cousin had been murdered. And I took Philip Davis, the Conservative MP for Shipley, who wanted to bring the death penalty back. And we went everywhere. And we looked at the system that supported execution. From the church, which is hugely influential, all the way through to the politicians, to those who had loved ones on death row. I met one woman who kept the ashes of a serial killer called Mr. Winkles by her front door because no one wanted him, so she brought him home. And she was married to a man on death row. So Mr. Winkles' ashes sat by her front door.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, okay.
Yeah.
That one at the New York Radio Festival Award. And again, it was a look at the decisions made about human lives within their legal system. Absolutely. The cost of it emotionally and financially. And that was fascinating. Yeah. Fascinating.
Wow. And now, of course, you've got your new radio show as well as running your boutique. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, True 2. I work for the True Radio Group. And this is an online internet system. And you can listen via the free app. You can listen online. You can listen on Bluetooth. Just go to True and download whichever you like. And I work for True 2, which is the home of classic hits. So every morning from 7, we have a carpet disco.
Oh,
You can have a disco in the shower. I'm not looking.
Yeah.
You can have a disco on the kitchen floor, in the car. I wake you up and get you where you need to be with the best classic hits ever.
Yeah.
And the music is amazing. And I can't sit still. I'm sitting and dancing. So if you want to join me one morning and stay, that would be fantastic. So I'm really proud. And it's an indication of how the industry's changed.
Yeah.
In that now so much is accessed online, including radio programs and radio stations, and the technology enables you to do that in a way even 5 years ago it wouldn't have. So through the pandemic, things evolved, things changed, and I wanted to be part of something that's growing really quickly and really well, and was delighted when they asked me to join them. Absolutely delighted. Yeah.
It sounds brilliant. I'll have to tune in. And did that launch today, was it?
Yeah, internet launch today, this morning,
Fantastic.
7 till 10, and we were playing all the great... I was dancing, and I've forgotten actually the joy of it.
Yeah, I think we definitely need a feel-good lift up on the morning.
What the heck?
And what's your favourite song that you play?
Ever? Oh, God,
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate Bohemian Rhapsody.
Do
I'm
you?
so sorry. I hate it with a passion, and you have to play all of it, otherwise you get complaints. I would never not play all of it.
Yeah.
I like soul, Motown. I'm a bit vintagey. I like the older hits. My year for music was 77 to 79.
Yeah.
So all that Saturday Night Fever, dance tracks,
Yeah.
I absolutely love. I like contemporary stuff too. I'm going to see Sting at the Peace Hall.
Yes.
And I'm hoping I might get to see George Ezra.
Oh, you never know.
I really like George Ezra. So for me, music is about good times and enjoying. And I am more vintage, which is why true to classic hits is perfect for me. Yeah, perfect for me. I was playing Aretha Franklin this morning. Who's zooming who? Who's zooming who?
Oh, amazing. And what about what's your favourite concert you've ever been to?
Golly, Frank Sinatra.
Oh, wow.
I saw Frank Sinatra when I was very young
Yeah.
at the Royal Albert Hall,
Wow.
where ladies were going up and giving him roses on the stage. And he had Count Basie in the orchestra. This is only for people of a certain age. Count Basie in the orchestra behind him, and it was gobsmacking. Having said that, I love Runrig. I enjoy contemporary music. I haven't been to a lot of gigs since the pandemic, and I did go and see Paul Weller at the Peace Hall last summer.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about that.
Wow. I was skipping, through the sort of round the things. I was skipping my way through when he was singing "Shout to the Top," and I'm like, skip, shout. And I thought, this is it. This is living. Yeah.
And I definitely think since the pandemic, going to things like that, it just the feeling of now being able to go to these concerts and
live.
Yeah, live.
And live.
Absolutely.
I think, I resolved in the very dark days, yes, of the pandemic, other awful things that were happening, that I was going to live. The living with depression and living with fear and living with feeling so bad had to stop.
Yeah.
And that the only way that would happen is if I took control of it. And fortunately, I was able to do it. I had help, but I was able to do it. And I think it's finding what makes you happy.
Definitely. Yeah.
That's the thing to do it. And then go and do it if you can. Go and do it if you can.
Yeah, definitely.
Never too late.
No, it's not, absolutely. Any advice to anybody that wanted to get the foot in the door in the industry? What would you say?
Right, let's talk about the radio industry first.
Yeah.
Broadcasting generally. It's tough. Parts of the industry are being dismantled.
Yeah.
The gene pool that you could go and work in is shrinking. I think you have to make a decision. You can go and do a degree and be an undergraduate and then a postgraduate course if that's what you would like. I think the number of jobs available aren't great. Job security is not great. And it's always been a tough nut to crack, I think. However, there are some great courses at Leeds University, Leeds Trinity. They are doing some fantastic courses, and Sheffield also. So I'm certainly not discounting that. And if nothing else, you'll have that experience under your belt. Decide what you want to do. If you want to be a Blue Peter presenter, I used to teach at Leeds University. I used to run the radio media course there. If you want to be a Blue Peter presenter, don't go and do journalism.
Yeah.
Well, you can. But, those reality TV type jobs, try it. But it's hard. It's hard. I'm not discouraging anyone, especially if you feel you want to communicate using the media. The opportunities for you on your own now are enormous. People now are influencers on TikTok and on Instagram and on Facebook.
Like our friend Shannon.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are working as influencers for whoever will take them. And that's a career. That's money.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. If you want to go and present the news at 10, then go and do a serious journalism course. If you want to, parade around on Love Island in your bikini, good luck to you. You'll make a lot of money. And I'm not saying don't rule it out. I'm just saying be sensible. Take advice. Most of all, listen to what you want to do and go and try it out. Because you might get there with that microphone and that camera and think, I can't do this. You might.
Absolutely.
Be amazed how many people are not comfortable. Yeah. So I would say in the media, tough world. If you are older, tough world. Really tough world.
Yeah.
Not that there's any ageism.
Brilliant. And how about the fashion
Well,
side?
Again, you need some funding behind you to set up. You need to choose your market carefully. You need to research your market carefully. I spent a year researching specifics, although I've been researching other things.
Yeah.
Who did I want to sell to? Where did I want to get it? How was I going to present it? What was going to happen? I found the right premises. That took a long time.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine.
No, it takes a long time. Within the right price bracket and that I wanted, and also in the location with some footfall and everything. That takes ages.
Yeah.
And then you've got to be prepared to work. I will finish talking to you. I'm going back to Cachet Le Boutique and I will work this afternoon. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I have some videos to make. I've got a new model coming in tomorrow to swirl about with me because I'm sure people are sick of seeing me. Even though I do have some models with me. And I think you need tenacity. You need, if I may say, balls. You need to have some courage.
Yeah.
That you are right in what you're doing. And if you're not, be prepared to reframe it. And you have to have the joy of doing it. And it's a tough time to start a business. Yeah. I've had several people saying, oh, you're brave. Yeah. It's a recession. I'm like, yeah, I am. But I think I've done my best to make sure I'm okay. Do your homework. Don't expect anybody else to do it for you either.
No, definitely.
Find the right people to work with.
Brilliant. And I'm going to move on now to some Yorkshire questions.
Oh, aye.
Oh, okay. So I'll put you on the spot here, Liz. So what is your ideal day out in Yorkshire?
Easy.
Oh.
I get up. I would go to York.
All right.
I'd have my breakfast somewhere very nice. Then I would wander up and down all those wonderful lanes and shops.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
And then I might call in at Castle Howard for a little meander in the Rose Garden and just think sort of... great country house vibes. Then I'd go to Leeds and I'd have because I haven't eaten much all day, I'd have a lovely dinner somewhere very, very special. And that would be perfect for me.
Oh, that sounds brilliant.
I know.
And how about your favourite restaurant in Yorkshire?
I really like... there's a restaurant that is actually not far from me at just off Ainley Top in Huddersfield. It's an Italian. It's called DeSandro. And
love DeSandro's.
And it is a family Italian restaurant. I have never ever had a bad meal at DeSandro, and I absolutely love it. Whether it's my mum's birthday this week, we're going to DeSandro's.
Oh.
I said, where do you want to go for your dinner? You could go anywhere. We'll go to DeSandro's. Spare ribs. I said, okay, that's fine. Yeah. That would be me in heaven there. Yeah, definitely.
It is so lovely. I go quite a lot to DeSandro's. And what about your favourite walk in Yorkshire?
Well, yeah, I'm not a huge walker, but during the pandemic, because I'm also type 2 diabetic, I have to have some exercise. So I started to walk around where I live in the Calder Valley and down and around into Brighouse. And I began to really enjoy walking. And 2 or 3 of my friends walk a lot. And I've said to them, they've been in Gloucestershire recently, or they'll wander about on top of Ilkley Moor or round Home Firth. And I've said, whether or not it'll happen soon, I'll come with you. Yeah. Because I have walking boots. Oh, yeah. Marks. Very nice. But I don't use them very much. So, but I do love where we live. I think the drive over to Harrogate and York, when it flattens out from our dark satanic mills. I love Salt's Mill, by the way, very much in, especially the restaurant there for lunch is lovely. Yeah. Love Salt's Mill. And just that, knowing where we live, we can be anywhere. M1, M62, A1, and like that, you're somewhere else. And
I almost feel like we're in the middle of
we are.
A bit of everything.
Beautifully placed.
Yeah,
beautifully placed. So we can enjoy most of what we've got believed. And I tell you where else I really like.
Go on.
Barnsley.
Oh.
Do you know, I do. I took my mum for afternoon tea in a little Victorian tea room there. And it was Saturday. They have this great market. They've regenerated themselves.
Yes.
There isn't anybody in Barnsley who don't say hello.
No, it's such a
Hello.
friendly town, isn't
Hello.
it?
And you're like, hello. Love Barnsley.
Yeah.
Really love Barnsley. And I met someone from Wombwell who had a boutique in Wombwell the other day. And I said, oh, I love Barnsley. But do you? I said, yeah. You don't live there, do you? I went, no, but I really like coming. I really like coming.
Yeah.
And I think she was a bit, right.
Yeah.
No, I do. I love it.
And I love to go to Cannon Hall around there. Oh,
And have you been to, what's the antique place on the way from between, I don't know if it's before Barnsley or just after, Elsecar?
Oh, the Heritage Centre.
Elsecar is to die for.
I've done a couple of events there before, and it is just such a lovely
antique
venue.
shops. Get a little bargain, have an ice cream, wander around, and all that history is there. Love Elsecar.
Yeah,
really nice.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, Liz, I think that brings us to the end of the interview today. Thank you so much for chatting to me.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
And if anybody wants to get in contact with you,
go on Facebook.
Yes.
Facebook, Cachet La Boutique. You can message me there, or it's hello@cachetLaboutique.co.uk. Come and have a soiree with me. Bring the women. Very proud to be an ambassador for Yorkshire Business Women. Fantastic organisation. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Clemmy.
you very much, Liz, and see you soon. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe. Yorkshire Business Woman is a membership network that supports and inspires businesswomen from small independents to large corporates within Yorkshire. Yorkshire Business Woman exists to support, inspire and promote businesswomen from across the region. And it offers a premium print and digital publication, in-person, inclusive networking, social support, and of course this podcast, which is open to both members and to guests as well. And to join us or to find out more, visit our website on www.yorkshirebusinesswoman.co.uk or find us on Instagram or LinkedIn.
This is the Yorkshire Business Woman podcast. This podcast was produced by This Is Distorted.